Hey there, Racies, and everyone who is joining us tonight for the release party for not one but two books, One Summer of Love and Snowbound Second Chance, which are both in this volume here. So thank you to all of you who are joining us here on Facebook in the Racy Reads Party Room to celebrate tonight. And thank you to all the authors who are going to be here with me celebrating tonight. And one of those authors is on the screen with me right now, and that's Leigh Carron. And she's one of my writing besties who I write with almost every day. And we chat and text throughout the day. The author of Fat Girl, which she sent me this lovely copy that actually has my quote on the back.
Yes, thank you.
We met back in the day as baby authors. But Leigh writes diverse body positive romance because all women deserve a sexy love story. And she wrote her first book, Fat Girl, to represent big, beautiful, curvy women, which I absolutely love. And so, Leigh, you can tell people how we met.
Well, first of all, just say that we're both from Cleveland, Ohio, which was quite a coincidence. Since you're now in North Carolina and I'm in Canada. So that's, but yeah, I remember that we met online. I can't remember the specifics, but we met online, decided to do a book swap to review each other's books and help each other out as young authors. And from there, we just developed this friendship. And so it's, that's just lasted the years, and throughout me moving from at that time Toronto to Miami to now Calgary, it's so yeah, it's been great. And then in the last, I guess, year, we've started really writing almost on a daily basis together with our other writing bestie who's joining us tonight as well.
That's right. And that's the other thing, is that even though we met way back then, like it wasn't until in the recent year or whatever that we really, really got a chance to just hang out all the time and write together and help each other out. So that has been awesome. So thank you so much for hanging out with me tonight.
Oh, my pleasure.
And again, thank y'all. I see Ruby Deborah Page and Caitlin Warrow and several others. If you have not done it before, if you go down to the bottom of the description of the show, there should be the link where you can give StreamYard permission to see your name and your profile. And so then that way we'll be able to see exactly who it is that is chatting with us, since we're not in the Facebook page at the moment. So, but thank you to everyone who's saying congratulations and happy release day. I appreciate y'all so much. Hey, Sheryl. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. We appreciate you. So we're going to do something fun, and we're going to answer some reader questions. So Leigh, take it away.
All right. Well, first of all, congratulations on your double book release today. That's wonderful. Congratulations. I'm sure be another, 2 more hits like your books always are. People just love you, and with good reason. I'm featuring some Reese Ryan books behind me that I've had the pleasure of receiving as gifts from Reese and reading as well. But if we want to dive right into the questions with the time that we have, so we make sure we get to as many as possible, why don't we start off? I think you just mentioned Caitlin, actually, that you saw her there. So, hey, Caitlin Warrow, I hope I'm saying that correctly. But what Caitlin wants to know is if there will be more Valentine Vineyard books.
So the quick answer to that is absolutely yes. The thing right now is I'm not 100% sure at this moment how that's going to materialize, whether or not it's going to be an indie project or if it's going to be carried on in some other way. But absolutely, there will be additional Valentine's Vineyards stories, because there's no way I'm going to leave the remaining 3 siblings, Niles, Naya, and Alonzo, just hanging.
So, exactly. Yeah. They need their stories.
They need their happy ever after as well. And I'm going to make sure they get it. Yes. So thank you for that question. Caitlin, I think somebody else also asked that same question. So thank you all for that question.
Yes. And then we have Vilma Atkins, who she's saying she expected trouble from the winemaker and the receptionist. I just love when readers get so engrossed in your stories that they actually think it actually feels to them like the characters are real, right? I mean, that's the highest compliment for an author. Anyway, she wants to know, is something coming down the line for those two?
Yeah. So, Vilma Akins, thank you so much for that question. Yeah. So definitely, I laid the seeds there that you'll see trouble, and even in this book, in the first book, One Summer, you'll see that she doesn't agree with, or she doesn't appreciate the fact that they brought this enologist Lainey in here, because she's been the winemaker for a long time, and she feels like, hey, I know what I'm doing. I don't need this chick. And so she already is not happy. So you see Ray trying to appease her a bit, taking her out to lunch and things like that. Though there might be another reason why he's taking her out to lunch.
Okay, so you're planting those seeds.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And then as for the question about the receptionist, who her family used to own, there's definitely more that we'll definitely learn more about what she thinks. And even in this book, in One Summer, that's one of the things Lainey first, when she learns that her family owned it before, she's like kind of suspicious of like, why is she still here? Why did she stay? And so yeah, we'll learn more about that, especially when we get to her book, because she will get a book with one of the brothers. I'm not going to say which one right now.
All right, sounds good.
So she and one of the brothers are going to get together, and so we'll learn more about her motives for staying.
Okay, good
stuff. Excellent question. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Vilma. And then we have another question from Pamela Sessions, who's very excited to read your new release. And what she wants to know is there any update on future books from the Bourbon Brothers family? Maybe she even gives you a little hint, a Christmas book.
I love that. We will definitely continue to see more of the characters from the Bourbon Brothers. As a matter of fact, in this book, both heroines are relatives of folks from early on. So in One Summer of Love, Lainey is Savannah's sister from Savannah's Secrets. And in Snowbound, A Second Chance, Evie is Kaylee's sister, Kaylee from Engage in the Enemy. And we didn't meet her in that book, but we definitely heard about her in that book. And so she is the heroine in this book. So we've got some connections there. We're going to have another connection later on in the series that I'm not going to say. For one of the characters, it's going to be a love interest that we met in a previous book as well. And then you also see characters. So like in One Summer, Lainey is Savannah's sister. So you see a lot of Savannah in this book. Right. And same with Kaylee in Snowbound Second Chance, because Lainey is her sister. You see a lot of her and Parker in that book. So you'll continue to see folks from the Bourbon Brothers universe, but also I do envision at some point us, as all these Bourbon Brothers siblings, the Abbots, they keep having kids. Down the road, we're gonna have a 2.0 at some point.
I love it.
So yeah, so I definitely expect to see more. But I love this idea, this suggestion, Pamela, about making a Christmas book in their universe. So thank you for that.
Right?
Thank you.
To the list.
Yeah, I love that.
And while we're on the Bourbon Brothers, I'm just wondering, with all the success that you've had with that, did you have any reservations about kind of doing a spin-off? Did you think twice about how that was going to work with it being so beloved?
So the funny thing is, I was in the process of writing the final book in the Bourbon Brothers series when I had Miss Bev on my YouTube show, Story Behind the Story. I'm not Miss Bev. That was it was Brenda Jackson. Who was on there. They both been on there, but it was Brenda Jackson
queen,
who was on there.
So it's okay.
Yeah, another OG legend.
Yeah, that's right.
And so she talked about how she never in series, and I was like, shit. So I'm about to, end the series. And so it made me think, because I already knew that I wanted to do a series about this family who owned a vineyard, and that I wanted to make it adjacent to, if not in, the Bourbon Brothers world, or in Magnolia Lake, which is the town.
Right.
And so when she said that, like I really started thinking of like how can I continue this series or keep this series going in some way? And I was like, I got it. And so that's why that book ends with introducing us to the patriarch of the Valentine family, and we find out that he's a distant relative of theirs that they did not know about. So, or not that distant, actually, they just didn't know about him. So
yes,
yeah,
I remember that.
So yeah, I mean, I did have concerns about it, but I think for me it was more exciting to be able to continue the stories with the family, or to keep a connection with the characters for both me and for the reader. So yeah.
But yeah, I think readers love that, to see, even if it's not all the same characters having sort of that feature, at least that they get to see kind of the bits and pieces of what's happening in their lives in the background. So it's a smart way of doing it.
I love it. And I'm just, now that I'm looking down, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to pop through and say hello to a bunch of folks. Thank y'all so much for all being here. And I'm glad, for instance, we just answered Pamela's question. So thanks. And author D.L. White, who is always so supportive and has been on Story Behind the Story as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. And Sharon Eatman Rowland is actually the one who, because a lot of times in my reader group, my Facebook reader group, I'll ask questions like I need the name of, a store or a band or whatever. And so Sharon's actually the one who came up with the name of the end.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, for this in Snowbound Second Chance. That's at the center of Snowbound Second Chance. So yeah, she came up with the name. And so I appreciate that one so much. And I also thank her in the book in the acknowledgments. And I'm going to send her a signed copy shortly. That's on my list of things to do. Veronica, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Hey, Veronica.
Love you and your support so much. We appreciate you so much. So thank you, as well as Jennifer. Hey, and Uzu. Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you all so much. So, all right. Sorry. Next question.
No, that's great. It's good to acknowledge that people are taking the time out of their days to stop by and see us. Okay, so we've got another question from both Jamaica White and Tony Linenberger, who both want to know if there will be more books in the Holly Grove Island series.
Excellent question. So I just, about a week and a half to 2 weeks ago, you know how I was working on that book.
I do.
So yeah, just a week and a half to 2 weeks ago, I turned the book 3 into my editor. And if you've been following the Holly Grove Island series, it is Emery, which is Dexter's little sister. Her and her best friend, Nick, is a friends to lovers story with the two of them. And so that's the story that's absolutely coming next. Do I have more books planned in the series? Yes, I do. As a matter of fact, we will be talking to the editors and the publisher about whether or not they want to continue the series shortly. So, but again, like the Valentine Vineyards series, we live in the age of indie. So yes, I'm going to go to them and we're going to see if they want to continue the series. And I would love to finish the series with them because I've loved working with them, but it's going to happen either way. Because I do have, at least 3 to 5 more books planned in that series. So either way, you definitely go see those stories as well. So
that's great. Good stories to be told. Tony also wanted to know, what is your favorite thing about writing interconnected end series?
Oh, I love using the characters from past books, not just as like, because sometimes readers will complain, oh, this character, they just walked on because they're going to get a book later. But if I'm going to bring other characters in, I want them to be integral to the story. So for instance, in One Summer, Savannah is a big part of the story. She's a big part of the reason why the sister comes in to Magnolia Lake in the first place. She's a big part of the reason why at Valentine Vineyards they hire her on as an enologist, and she's pulling strings a lot. So and Savannah's definitely one of those characters where people like they either love her or they hate her and they still mad at her.
That's okay, as long as you're getting a reaction, right?
So she's definitely a love or hate. But what I love about her is like I feel like the entire Bourbon Brothers series wouldn't have happened without her, and even her mother-in-law acknowledges that Iris, that hey, if like that relationship and what happened there set something right she feels like that her family needed to set right, but also it was like the first domino to fail to get all of her kids to find love. So
Right.
yeah. So I love Savannah.
Well, I'm gonna kind of breeze through these because I know we're running out of time, and I want to try and get to as many questions as we can. This one is from fellow author Joanne Rock, and she's interested in your process. I get a front sort of row view into
Joanne
that.
right there.
Joanne. Yeah.
Love Joanne, and Joanne is one of the people too that I talk to quite often. I've been on a chat with her all day today when I probably should have been writing, but it was an important conversation, and I loved it. And then we also meet fairly often via Zoom or whatever. So,
Nice.
But. So she does know a little bit about my process, mostly that I'm a huge procrastinator.
Well, she actually didn't say that.
Yeah, she's super sweet.
She was very diplomatic. She said that the little bit I know sounds like you craft so differently from me. I love it, Joanne. Which makes me wonder, what can I learn from you? And she wants to know, she just wants you to talk a little bit about kind of how you pre-plan.
So I'm actually going to try to make sure that I do a more detailed post, like TikTok or something about this. But the short story is I actually do try to do a lot because I felt like I found out I kept writing myself into a corner and getting lost in the story when I didn't do any sort of planning, when I thought I was a pantser and that I didn't need to plan. So now I do a lot of planning. And since my stories are very character driven, it's mostly around the character. I just now started doing more outlining, as you know. But before that,
it's working for you.
It definitely helps, especially when I'm trying to be prolific and trying to be faster or whatever.
Yeah.
But some of the pre-planning that I do is around the characters. And so I actually use a trick that I learned from author Cherry Adair many years ago in a workshop, and that is using astrological signs. So I pick astrological signs for my characters, and I pick them based on what I already know about the character, which ones I think are closest to who they are. And then I really use that because like the one I use at horoscope.com, it like leans into like who they are in friendships, in love, with money, lifestyle, just all kinds of things like that. And so of course I don't take it word for word, but it inspires me in terms of who that character is. Sometimes it inspires scenes that happen or dialogue that happens in a story or background on the character. And another thing that I like to use is I think it's Angela Ackerman and maybe Becca Puglisi. They have a series of author thesauruses. And so the one I've been using for years is the emotion thesaurus. So like kind of is helpful in helping you convey a person's emotions through actions and thoughts and stuff like that. But also they have one that's called the emotional wound thesaurus. And I like to know what the emotional wound is of the character before I start writing them. And that actually helps me a lot. So I usually actually do a pretty detailed workup of the character before I get started with any of the writing. And now lately I have been doing more outlining, like from beginning to end. And
in the last few months you've really been doing a lot of outlining, and outlining those characters, because this is the first time with the book I'm reading now that I decided to take a page out of your book and actually do that too, with the wounds and the signs, and just giving, being able to better frame the characters and have them clearer in your mind. Even though I don't do any outlining, I still love the piece about the character. So that's been very helpful. So
I'm so glad.
Yes.
I'm so glad. Yeah. Excellent. Very good. Okay.
And you're gonna do more on that on TikTok, you said?
Yeah, I'm probably I'm gonna try to do more of this where I'm like answering reader questions. And so some of these questions I actually might do later also in TikTok videos. So thank y'all for these fantastic questions.
Yeah, those are good questions
so much.
Joanne. And then we have 2 more questions. Do we have time?
Go ahead
to get to those.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. So again, from Tony that we heard from before, she wanted to know, and this is a great question, now that desire is no more, like what's next?
So that is an excellent question.
Yeah.
So I have been so overwhelmed because at one point I had like 7 or 8 books contracted at one time. And so anybody who knows me well, or, you know, you, Joanne, y'all know how crazy I've been, these past few months, and super stressed and stuff like that. So at this point, I was just like, let me write my way through all of the remaining contracts I have and then go from there. So I turned in the final contracted book with a traditional publisher. I am currently working on a super secret indie project that will be coming up soon. So I can't say more about that just yet, but I'm working on it now, and I have to get that finished right now. And then once I do that, then I'm going to start planning what's coming next. I do know, like, for instance, an indie series that I'm going to be doing. And so maybe I'll get a chance to talk about that more now. If not, you'll hear more about it in the future. So I do have an indie series planned that I'm going to be doing for sure. And then I have 2 different projects that we're shopping. We're going to be shopping to publishers. But first I need to work on proposal stuff. But right now I'm just like trying to take a breath after having to turn in one book after another for like a year and a half. It's been wild. So
it's been a wild ride for sure.
It's been a wild ride. It has. It really has.
And then Jamaica, I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. White had another question. She wants to know about other series ideas, and that one's going to sort of wrap it up for us. So give us a little bit of the tea on that.
Okay, so other series ideas. So the series that I'm working on now. So if you are part of the Happily Ever After Collective Patreon, the story I wrote for that, the title of it at the time was Twice Fake. It's going to have a different name, but that introduced a new world that's based in Atlanta. It dealt with a music artist and like an international DJ. He's like, think Calvin Harris, but Black. And so they had a story, a fake romance story, and it was set in this high school. The center of it was this high school they went to in Atlanta called Peachtree School of the Arts. And so there are going to be more books in that series. That book's going to be introduced widely because it was only available to people who were in the Patreon. So that's going to be coming out for next year for sure. The super secret project that I'm working on is also going to be in that same world. And so right now, the plan I have for the series title is called Love and Music, and it's going to be set in Atlanta and around these folks who are in like the music industry and stuff like that. So, and
art, you love your music, and that's a great.
I love my music. Yes,
you love your music, and that's a great place to have it featured.
Yeah, so I'm excited about that. So that's what's coming up for sure in the indie part of my career coming up, and that's going to be in 2024. We'll start to see that. So, but I can't wait till y'all find out more about this super secret indie.
I know.
Project. So
hey y'all, I know.
That's awesome. So yeah, I'm excited. And thank y'all all so much. I appreciate you all so much for coming at dinner time, 6 o'clock, whatever, and hanging out with us live. And please enjoy the party and all the other authors, hang out and see your faves again, like Naima Simone and Kimberly Kincaid and all those amazing folks. But also I hope you are meet lots of new to you authors and get some great prizes and have some fun. So
I've got some good giveaways coming up, so do stay tuned at that.
Oh, that's right. And for everybody who comments on this, I'm glad you said that word. Okay. I'll add it to the description below. But for everybody who comments, somebody is going to be picked to get a $10 winner's choice gift card. And always do the winner's choices, either Amazon, Starbucks, Barnes and Noble, iTunes, whichever one you want. So one per commenter is going to get a $10 winner's choice.
All right.
So thank y'all for your comments and for your congratulations. And someone asked, I can't remember who right now, how I was gonna sell. It was LaShawn. That's what it was. Asked what I'm gonna do to celebrate today. And today I've just been I've just basically been working.
Just reminded.
Like I said, the
You just been running
Indian
today.
project is way behind. I'm way behind on that. And my grandkids are here. And I'm trying to, I'm surprised y'all can't hear them. So I'm going to go and hug them and spend some more time with them the rest of the evening while I'm also partying with y'all. So that's what we'll be doing. So, well, we did it. We got it all in.
Okay. Awesome.
We pretty much got it all in. So thank y'all so much. I appreciate you. And I'll see you throughout the rest of the evening.
Great. Thanks for having me, Reese. Enjoyed it. Bye, everyone.